Welcome to another MotorTown video. Today I'm here to tell you guys about the new update. 0.7.9 has come to the public testing branch and I'm so excited about this. We have 3 new vehicles, a few changes to the map and also new mechanics, changes to existing ones and a whole lot of bugs being fixed and that kind of stuff. So really cool things going on right now. And we are going to start by talking about one of the new vehicles here, the Nuke. Look at the top of the screen. I'm not joking, this thing is called Nuke for some reason. It's pretty good. Seeing that on the Trello had me very much concerned for the game. But yeah, it's a car. It's not the end of the world. That's all good. And the thing is, this is supposed to be the replacement for the old Police Interceptor. This, of course, being an asset pack vehicle and a massively oversized one. I mean, this thing isn't tiny. This is up to scale to my character over here. This one is just way too large, and putting those side by side, you just know how massive the difference is. And yeah, what can I say? People have been asking for a civilian version of this for quite a while, so basically they have been asking to send nukes, and yeah, your prayers have been answered. I'm just gonna leave it like that. And yeah, the thing is, I remember Scaleman talking about this on the Discord a while ago. He is, of course, one of the modelers who makes just a lot of cars for the game and other vehicles. And yeah, he was looking into getting the blueprints for whatever car this one is based on. And he just had a hard time finding it. Apparently, there wasn't anything public, so he had to settle for a similar chassis. And while I can see quite a few similarities in the overall shape, there are also a lot of differences, like with the backlights. I really love these ones being set into the actual bumper and all of that. And also, of course, the front is very much different, but yeah, I don't know. I think overall I still prefer the styling of the Police Interceptor, but this is the overall much nicer looking model if you just look at it at its own terms. So yeah, glad that we got another replacement here. Really just seeing that the devs are really going that direction. They mentioned wanting to get rid of the asset pack vehicles for quite a while, and then nothing really came of it. So it's good that they finally do something here. The thing is, I mean, it's not really a replacement if you keep the old one in game, and I'm going to talk a bit more about that in a moment. But yeah, I mean, just looking at the interior here compared to the other one, the fact that this one doesn't have any doors that you can open and that kind of stuff. I mean, opening doors isn't really a mechanic right now, but they are considering making that one, so yeah. There's a lot of stuff that this one can do that this one can't, and having to edit this vehicle in order to make all of that work, it wasn't really going to work. And I remember there being something about the license for these not allowing edits like that. Anyways, enough about this. Let's take a look at the customization for this car. By the way, if you notice the dark spot on the top, that's apparently a light fixture coming through. So that's one that's in the car, but the casing apparently is poking through the top there. So I hope they change that. Shouldn't be too tough to edit if I'm correct here. At least from my own experience, which isn't that much. Oh yeah, also they added a supermarket across the police station, so it's not all construction sites anymore, which is nice. But yeah, let's take a look at the aero parts here. We have 3 front bumpers, one of them being just the stock chrome, second one being painted, third one having an extended lip down there as a spoiler. And then we also have a separate front spoiler, which is a bit smaller and all of that, bit more set back and all of that, so that's kind of neat. The thing is, if you install the extended front bumper from the bumper section, you won't be able to see anything from the new front spoiler anymore. I think maybe what they could be doing is separating the spoiler part from this bumper, just having the painted and the regular bumper for this section, and then two spoiler options for this one. First up, the little one right here, and then also the extended one. So I think that would make a bit more sense here, and it would also allow us to have the extended body parts with still the chrome bumper, which would be nice. Besides all of that, the side skirts are just extended versions of the default stuff, so we can have a bit of a body kit going on here, which is nice. For the rear, we have the same thing going on as with the front bumper. Again, stock chrome, then painted version, then painted with extensions. And if they go with what I just suggested for the front, maybe on the back they might wanna change it as well and have a diffuser part there. That would be nice. But even as it is, I mean, it's looking pretty cool. I'm really happy about this. In the end, this thing is nothing crazy special, but it's just another very solid vehicle, and having another retro sedan, it's a cool vehicle to have. Been asking for stuff like that for quite a while, so I'm absolutely excited about it. When it comes to taxi licenses, I mean, we got the usual ones. This thing, by the way, is a free comfort level vehicle. So more middle of the road, not really amazing for comfort, but at least a bit higher than the average. Because there are a lot of 2 comfort level or even 1 comfort level vehicles, so this goes at least a bit further. But yeah, apart from the trailer hitch, there isn't really nothing else about this. I wish it also came with a spoiler option, because that's kind of missing right now in my opinion. Would be nice, especially for like NASCAR-like racing. So I don't get why we don't have at least like one spoiler lip in the back here, just something that goes up a little bit, maybe not as much as I just indicated. Yeah, just a little spoiler lip here and being at an angle, that would be nice. But yeah, as it is, no such option. I hope that could maybe be added later down the line, but who knows. So let's move over to the next part here, which is another replacement vehicle. And I think at this point we really need to talk about replacements. They called this out as a replacement for the Bora over here in the patch notes, this by the way being named the Dabo. The thing about this, the Bora is still in game. I can still drive my own Bora, it hasn't been replaced, the cars have different names, and this one is still purchasable at Oido over here. By the way, this car, 28k at the Jiu car dealership up here, so that's where you can get that one. Yeah, so they are not really replacing anything. It feels more like they are offering up some different alternative options here, because their vehicles are still in the same line of what they can do and all of that. But yeah, it has a different name. The old one is still in game and it can still be bought, so it's not really a replacement here. And ideally, I would like to see them naming this one Bora. And basically, anybody who owns this one gets this one instead with the same upgrades and all of that. And then also, it not being available to buy anymore. There are a few people who kinda want the whole grandfathering in thing, and I don't really agree with that, honestly. That would mean keeping the old vehicles for the people who bought them. So you cannot buy them anymore, but anybody who has them can still drive them, and that's kinda... It would be a weird way of going about it, so I'm not entirely sure about that idea. If you want your game to be looking better at the end of the day, by adding all of these custom-made models with so much detail and everything, which are also up to scale, unlike a lot of asset pack stuff, when you can't really keep the asset pack stuff in the game, it's gonna be a liability at some point, and it's just gonna look worse overall. And I say that as somebody who absolutely loves the Bora. I've made so much money with it. It's so fun to drive, and yeah, the cargo bed is just so amazing. I knew it would likely be a smaller version in the end if we got a replacement, because the truck itself is too large, and the cargo bed also, yeah, doesn't really size up as it should. So this thing is just way too large, way too much, and it would always be a smaller replacement. But I'm fine with having this one getting replaced and removed from the game, because at the end of the day, I think that's healthier for the game. And right now, since we have things that are called out as direct replacements, I think they really need to set it straight right now, get the idea on how they want to do it, and just go through with it. And what they are doing right now, in my opinion, is just not a good way of handling things. Anyways, it's time to look at the new Dabo on its own merits right now, after doing the whole comparison here. I mean, it's a K-Truck, it's kinda neat, it's cute looking, though once again, maybe I prefer the old headlights here, but this thing, yeah, it's growing on me, definitely. Available at different dealerships, also over here in Gangyang for 8K, so it's even cheaper than this one, which is 10K. But I mean, the lower cargo bed size, you can expect to maybe get a bit of a discount here. I think it also has a smaller engine than what we had before. Yeah, inline 4, 50 horsepower. We only used to have, I think, 150 and 90. So this is a new engine. Kinda neat. And yeah, another thing about this is that we can open the cargo bed on all sides. So this should make things a bit easier when it comes to loading. Just like that, it's up again. And yeah, what can I say? It's just a nice, highly detailed vehicle, and good job on the modeler. Let's take a look at the cargo stuff now. The thing is, they recently resized the pallets alongside everything, alongside the rest of the update here. So we can still load pallets on this one. That was one thing that the Bora was special at beforehand, because pallets used to be much larger and you could fit only a single pallet onto that one before. Now the Bora can take up to 4 pallets. This one can only take 2, but I mean, it's still kinda neat with how it works now. I would have been very disappointed if this one couldn't hold any pallets. Also, I think pallet A and B are the same size. They are also kinda randomized now in terms of how much they weigh. But pallet C is still a larger one, so yeah, I only have one here. I don't know if I could hold multiple ones. It likely wouldn't fit. I think that's a bit too little space there. But yeah, pallets are now the size that they should be, with 2 different size versions here really, and yeah, that's just kind of neat, being able to load a few more of those. Also, and I almost forgot about this, we now have actual vehicle weight to take care of when doing transportation. And this is what you can see to the left over here. We have the gross vehicle weight on the bottom, 1.2 tons right now, which is of course, the car is empty. And it's a bit more front heavy, so 0.7 tons on the front, 0.5 on the back, and there's also an overlay here to explain everything. So yeah, gross vehicle weight should not go over 40 ton. Maybe they should do a proofreading here. Or should not go. Something is kind of missing here. And axle weight should not be over 10 tons. I wonder if it's even possible to go overweight with this vehicle at all with its small cargo hold, but yeah, other vehicles likely have a different time, especially when it comes to semi-trucks and all of that. But yeah, the axle weight means that there's still some sort of limit over here for the smaller vehicles as well. But I think this is more for the heavy duty stuff to really be careful about. But yeah, so much about all of that. Let's quickly look at the customization here. And yeah, as far as aero parts are concerned, we have some front bumpers. Bit more plastic, a lot more plastic, and JDM tuner style. I mean, this thing is looking hilarious. I love it. Next one is the side skirt. I think this could also be classified as a fender because basically that seems what it is, or seems to be what it is. Also seems to extend the doors a little. Would be nice to see if they also work when opened. But yeah, this is kinda cool. Just adding a bit more overhang if you want to go wider with your wheel set. That's about it for this vehicle, however. We can still, of course, add a trailer hitch. The thing is, the Bora also has the option to add a winch. You can sometimes use it to get yourself out of a ditch or something. It's more for fun than really necessary, but I would still like the option. It's the same with the Bongo and Townie. Townie has a winch option, Bongo supposed replacement, which they never used to replace the original one. It doesn't, and I don't get these slight downgrades. Honestly, that would make the Townie much more useful for Guangjin, but I don't know. Maybe I should make a feedback post about that instead of just complaining in the videos. But I think that's all that I can say about this vehicle here. So let's go over to the last one. And this is actually at the Gozen truck dealership. So we are dealing with a truck, and actually we also have just a few more of the pickup trucks being added to this place. So if we want to buy something smaller, there are also options here now. But the new vehicle that we are going to look at today is actually a new tanker. And here I bought my own already. This is the Atlas tanker. It's a 6x2 with a functional lift axle. Lift axles I'm gonna show you guys in a moment. We also now got a functional one for the CUDA container. Yeah, it costs 160k, 20-ton tanker on the back. No option to make it into a fuel station, which I don't mind not having because really not every single vehicle needs that. And yeah, heavy duty engine, it's pretty strong, pretty large, and just by the name alone, Atlas 6x2 tanker, I fully expect that this is another platform for more vehicles. So maybe we'll get like a boxcar version, maybe a dump truck or something. And really, I wouldn't even mind if this was the start of replacement versions for the Compacti, the Mixi, the Dumpy, Tronco, and Matey over here. I think that would be fitting. It would actually be one vehicle that's larger than the original ones over here. Maybe some of it would be a different one, since I think only these two are actually heavy duty and the other ones are more medium duty with their engines. Yeah, medium duty, and I know for a fact that these two are heavy. And the other ones are also just medium. But we'll have to see about that. I wouldn't mind getting this as a replacement or something similar. But yeah, I definitely, one way or the other, I expect that there will be more of these. More Atlases with different other cargo attachments on the back. So let's now have a look at the lift axle. I actually haven't set this up for my controller, so I have to do this on the keyboard. And yeah, we can lower and raise the third axle here. You can actually see that once it's really pressing down on the ground, the rear gets lifted a tiny bit. Also, if you lift it again, it just shifts the weight around, so that's all pretty realistic. And Yeah, if you don't care about doing this on the keyboard and you don't have any buttons to assign on the controller, you can also just lift and lower it on the control panel. I think I'm gonna go with that on the long run. I don't really see a reason to have that as an assigned button. By the way, this thing also comes with a bed, so the cabin is a sleeper. And yeah, let's take it into the shop to check out its customization. This one I don't really have too much to talk about, but considering the whole overloading function, having a functional lift axle now, it makes a whole lot of sense. So when it comes to customization, we actually have a few bumper options. And yeah, to be clear, the cabin is my primary color. The red arches over here are actually the secondary, and of course we can paint the tanker separately of all of that. And basically the front bumpers are three different versions and they come with primary color and secondary color options. So this one is just the first one but with secondary. Then we have another one with different stairs on the side in primary. Same in secondary. And then a third one which looks a bit more like off-road ready with a bit more ground clearance and all of that. And that of course also comes in secondary color, so that's how all of that works. And besides that, there isn't really too much to talk about over here. We don't get like a tow hook or something. I would hope that eventually we'll get, maybe not for this vehicle, but for some of the slightly smaller ones or replacements for those. Maybe a tow hook to get a dolly trailer or something going. I think that would be neat. Or just having full trailers that also have like the same capacity as the main vehicle. So we could double this up to 40. I mean, okay, we have a 40-ton semi-truck, whatever. But yeah, other options would be nice. Anyways, this is more about what we have right now, not what we could be getting. Another thing we have here are now heavy duty or heavy load capacity tires. Slightly less grip, slightly more mileage, and the maximum load is increased from 3000 kilogram to 5000. And yeah, this is for the single tires. We also have one going for the double rim wheels or whatever. And this increases from 5 to 8k. So yeah, if you're going with heavy loads and you have the lighter limit tires, they are going to wear down quite a bit faster. So that's also kind of a new mechanic, and it's going to be interesting to see how that all works out. I think some people who already wanted more tire grip are not going to be too pleased about lower tire grip for higher load capacity. But I think it's an interesting trade-off and the difference shouldn't be too much. But yeah, that's all for the new vehicles. Let's quickly talk about the new changes to the map. We have a turnaround road at Northern OG now. So this is likely more for buses, so that if you go around here but you don't really want them to go to Jijo or something, they can just take this loop and come around here to go back down to Gappa or something. I'm going to make a racetrack here. That's my main concern about this. I love having a bit more road density here, because that just gives you more options for the route, and this is going to be quite the nice one, I think. So yeah, Baiyang Loop is about to be born once I'm finished with this video here, that's for sure. The thing is, what else they've done here is add a shortcut to Guangjin, or at least somewhat of a shortcut. This is another mud road, but it's not mud all the time. I think you can kind of see a difference here. So this part is regular dirt, just like this one, but just in a slightly different color for some reason. And some of the parts are actual mud, so the more blurry looking ones, I think, are what's actually gonna be mud in the end, and also what is kind of mud right now, but there are only a few patches of that. So while while you're likely not gonna make it through there with any non 4x4 or 6x6 truck, at least this thing is a bit faster than the other one. The other one doesn't seem to have gotten the same treatment, and I honestly have ignored it ever since I've been done with my testing on that. I don't see myself using this one either. I mean, it's definitely more usable and that's nice, but in the end, yeah, you're still gonna have to do most of the squiggly road stuff going into Gwangjin. So while this is kind of a shortcut, I think I prefer the experience you get from this one. Gonna have to see about it. Maybe you can run a bus through here. That would be the most useful because right now, I mean, okay, we have the construction site, but besides all of that, mostly you're gonna be here with your bus or something, maybe with a taxi. Okay, all-wheel drive taxi would also be maybe a good fit through here, but its uses are kind of limited, which it kind of should be to not make the other route redundant, but then again, this entire setup is a bit ridiculous to begin with. Anyways, before I start rambling about that, let's get out of here and talk about something else. Those are all the points that I could do from the top of my head. I'm now going to go through my list, which I based on the patch notes for this update. So what do we have here? What did I mention or what did I forget to mention yet? Of course, the 3 new vehicles. And yeah, Dabo and Nuke are specifically called out to be replacements. Overloading mechanic, as I mentioned, we have axle weight, we have gross vehicle weight, and we have the UI in the loading area and all of that. And yeah, there are a few way in motion stations on the road, which you may have seen already, but we are going to go back to Gangyang to make sure that we talk about them properly. It's these speed bump looking things. Honestly, the texture I think could do some work. They look a bit weird in my opinion. Looks like it's like a weirdly scaled up thing, and yeah, that whole thing coming towards me is also new. This is from the Halloween event, which has been reactivated. Happy about that, and I'm still on the hunt for the Steam achievement, so gotta get that. So these have been placed around different areas here. I'm not entirely sure if I like them. The thing is, if you go over them with an overloaded vehicle, you are going to get a fine because the thing is basically, yeah, it's snitching on you. I don't know how good these are going to be for races. I've actually got one coming up which is going to be using this road. I hope it's going to be fine, but I'm a tiny bit concerned about it. And yeah, you can also get free weight readings at the harbor if you go through the gates. It's not gonna fine you, it's just gonna tell you how heavy you are, so you know if you are still in compliance with weight limits. I'm also not sure if double rim wheels shouldn't be like higher weight limits because they are meant to be more heavy duty, or if that's more for traction. Not entirely sure. But yeah, that's been added. Also volume type cargo like tanker loads or dump loads now have density. It's a bit weird actually because let me just spawn in the new tanker again. But yeah, milk is heavier than fuel because fuel has just basically a lower density and all of that. So that's kind of normal. I don't know what the guys are doing over there. They are basically merging. The idea is cool, but I think they may have still a bit of work to do regarding the way they communicate it. So where is my atlas? So yeah, if we are loading by volume now, and it's meant to be so that if we are loading a high density thing, we are going to always load up to the same limit, and we're just gonna have a heavier load in the end with a high density liquid. And in that regard, it doesn't really make sense that they classify the cargo space by ton. This should be 20,000 liters, I guess, or something like that. Because otherwise, if it's loaded by ton, we would still end up with the same weight at the end if we load 20 tons. It can maybe be a difference that maybe for very low density liquids we might not be able to get to 20 tons because, yeah, that would mean overflowing the entire tanker. I don't think that's how it works. We are always going to be loading 20 units. And that's just going to mean that sometimes the tank is heavier and sometimes it's lighter. But then this needs to be classified by volume to make sense. Shouldn't necessarily be a large change, but it would be a change after all. If we are still loading by weight and everything that we load is like 1 ton of weight with the liquids, then having a really high density liquid would mean that we are basically not filling up the entire tanker anymore. So it would still weigh the same, but the center of mass would maybe be a bit lower. I don't know. I don't think that's the intent, but right now with how it's working, it's a bit inconsistent. I might need to make a feedback post about that so they sort that stuff out. But I really like the idea of having different density for different vehicle or different loads, and therefore the vehicle having a better time with some liquids than others. Might be more beneficial for people doing fuel runs because it's not going to be 40 tons anymore, but actually a bit lighter than that. Milk, I think, is around 1.0 density. Anyways, let's continue. We have still a few things to go through. High load capacity tire now added for heavy duty, as I showed you guys. Company Truck AI. This is brand new. This is still work in progress, and it's still not gonna work properly from what I heard because it's already saying that this is an early test. There should be many bugs and bad balance. So take this with a grain of salt, but there are now truck routes that we can do. I haven't played with this yet. I'm kind of excited because I would like to outsource maybe some of the container stuff. I don't really like containers that much, and if I could just have one vehicle that goes around the areas and occasionally grabs the container, brings it somewhere else so that we get more, or more like I get more cargo at the different warehouses and all of that. I think that would be cool. And yeah, this is what the interface looks like. I'm also happy that this is something that's going to require some programming, quote unquote, and that the entire thing isn't just gonna run on its own. We are actually giving the whole thing some points to go to and from. However, I'm not entirely sure how it's gonna work out. I mean, in the end, part of the thing is which car are we going to spawn, what can it transport, and where do we send it. But if it's really knowing that if it's over here, if it comes around the first time, it should be delivering, or it should be getting a container for the second place and then bringing back the empty. When it's back here, unloading the empty and getting another container for place number 4. I'm not entirely sure if it really works, and I'll have to figure this one out. But yeah, I'm excited about this, and from what I heard, we can also use semi-trucks with the entire thing here. So it's not just gonna be rigid trucks, but actual semis as well. Also, we can now get more vehicle slots over here. I'm already at 7, and I can just buy another slot for 150k now. The thing is, by default, you have 5 slots. Going up to 6 means paying 50k. The 7th one is going to be 100k, and it seems like it just goes up in increments of 50k here. And we should be able to get up to 10 slots in total, so that's a bit expensive, but hey, I got the money, I'm happy to spend it. And I'm most likely going to be using most of these for bus driving anyways, but yeah. Nice to get another few vehicles out there to do my stuff for me. Okay, so much about that. Next thing, we have pipe delivery. We can now produce plastic pipes over here at the plastic factory. I don't know how much I like it. I would have much preferred if we got concrete pipes to be made somewhere, just having another heavy duty load that we can then bring somewhere else, because the concrete factory always had the problem of potentially overfilling and all of that, and that would be a good outlet. Anyways, plastic it is right now, and it says in the change notes that those are required at the construction site. I checked out multiple construction sites across the maps over here, across the islands. I haven't found one yet that actually needs them. And in order to get any one of these produced, I would need to do a oil delivery from the refinery. So that's gonna take a while. Just so you know where we are on this. And yeah, I'm likely gonna make a few videos on this new update now. So you're gonna see a few things about this, and this might be one of the first that I'll have to tackle and see what is going on here. Anyways, next one. Bike control stability has improved, something about RPM limiter for going reverse. And we can now also lift up the bike with the interaction key. I tried this earlier. You may have seen the bike lying around on its side on one of the other places, and I don't know what they mean with this. If I get out of a vehicle, well, if I get back on, I'm just straight on again. I was thinking that maybe it would be some way to load this up, but apparently that's not the case. I mean, I would like to lift this up and put this on the back of a truck or something, so that we can actually... Maybe that's how it's supposed to work or so. I'm not entirely sure what to make of that whole point there. But yeah, it would be nice to maybe put it onto the back of a truck or something so that we can transport it. But I don't think that's how it works right now. I'm really not sure what to expect from this. But yeah, if I wanted to go on a trip, it would be nice to just load up the bike on the truck and then just go wherever I need it to be. Just another option to transport smaller vehicles, I guess, but I'm not entirely sure if it's any of those things right now. Might just be an easier way to get it set up straight again when you tip it over or something. Start engine control panel, anything in here? I have no idea. So yeah, if you have any idea what this is about, let me know, because I'm drawing blanks here. Moving on, Halloween event is back online, so there are a few ghosts around, which I think I've already driven over one. Basically, they appear on the road, you drive over them, and you can later also go to the mansion here, and yeah, I think it's gonna be a bit spooky. It might give you a reward for it. I might as well go there right now because I have like almost 20 of them taken care of right now. So maybe I get something for it. Let's quickly check this out. Next one. Bus terminal group. If you go into... there's one of those pesky ghosts right there. 18. If we go into the bus route menu and actually display the bus, maybe you actually need to add another bus line here. Yep. They are now painted differently depending on their area. So the yellow ones here, where you can barely see the bus stop symbol to begin with. They are all connected to Helm bus, or yeah, the Helm terminal, whatever. Jesus Christ, I can't talk anymore. God dang it. I had a bit of a rough day. Anyways, yeah, the more orange one is connected to Lijo bus terminal, which now also has a different symbol. A lot of symbols have changed around the map, which is nice. So they are all looking a bit more unique. Over here, we have the one going to Seongsan. Blue down here to Gappa. Gangyang, and the black ones to Gappa. They also said that there are going to be more terminals around Oldly at some point. I would love to have one at Baiyang as a switchover or something. I already made a post about maybe getting one to Anson Speedway as a dedicated switchover or layover station, whatever. But yeah, something would be nice to just have one terminal somewhere around here to go to when you actually want to deliver people who want to go to another island. Besides all of that, we have delivery info on the world map now, so that's to do with the different new icons over here. I'm trying to scroll in closer, but yeah, of course the symbols are getting smaller then. But here we get some info here. Supply, airline, meal pallet, and you need a flatbed and flatbed or box vehicle in order to do the delivery. Doesn't tell you what it needs in order to get anything, but at least you can see now what it would be providing. Maybe that's another thing they could do. Just instead of saying supply, because that could also mean what you need to supply to this place, just call it providing or producing or product, whatever. I think that would be a bit more clear. Another thing I'm going to quickly skip ahead on because it's now getting dark. We have mood lighting settings basically. We can now go to, I think, gameplay, and yeah, you see moonlight brightness. You can lower that down to 0% if you want darker nights. So this is now, yeah, very dark and spooky. You can basically see nothing unless you're shining a bright light on it. Doesn't really change anything during the day, but for the night, people have been asking for the option to make it darker. However, it also comes with the option to make it much, much brighter than before, up to 500% brightness. So yeah, that's if you don't really want it to be dark at any point. So yeah, make of it what you want. There's another pesky ghost. And let's quickly see if I can now get in here and get myself the costume or something. Maybe we shouldn't actually do that because that's more like a little Easter egg thing or whatever. I might do it in another episode. Might also need to hunt a few more ghosts because I know the Steam achievement is at 50. But yeah, this is where you are supposed to go for some of it. For the Halloween event. And yeah, besides all of that, last one it's mentioning on the patch notes is the Quanglian shortcut, which I talked about earlier. So let's now quickly go through a few changes here and there. Starting with the bank, max loan is now up to 300k at level 30. So if you are driver level 30, you can get up to 300k at this place. And yeah, that's increased from 100k at level 10. So I think that's a good change, allowing you to get a bit more money here. I mean, you need a huge amount for some of the upgrades and all of that, so yeah, that's definitely more useful. Of course, you have to balance that out with how you pay it back and everything, so gotta be careful, not overdo it, otherwise you're just gonna put yourself into debt quite a bit. Contract, supply contract, cargo count is now balanced with size. I have to take a look about. I have to take a look at that. I recently did a preparation run for maybe a contract episode, which I completely forgot about. And depending on how it goes now, it might not be possible anymore, or I might need to get a lot more stuff here. Also, for some reasons, the ghosts have physics sometimes, and they just flip you over if you're not careful. Uh, Number decals have been added, and it's not like 0 to 9 or something. It goes 0 to 100. So even if you have number 100 on your vehicle, that's a single decal. So that's kind of cool. Pellets have been resized, as you saw, and the weight is now randomized as well. For events, time attack is now disabled when you are in an event. So if we are doing like races on the existing race tracks, maybe going in reverse or something, we're not gonna get any notifications from that for invalid sector or something. So that's pretty good. That's what I suggested a while ago. There's a tutorial for creating a company now, which I think can only help. Main menu background world has changed to now be, I think, Gangyang or something. It's definitely not the default one anymore, which used to be just from an asset pack. So it's now a place that you can actually see in the world here, which is cool. There are now 50% suspension, spring, and damper options. So we can have softer springs if we want to, which is nice to have. And I just told you guys the whole nighttime brightness thing. I'm not gonna keep it at this, by the way. This is just for the video now. And yeah, turnaround road at the Medium warehouse, as I talked about, which is gonna be a new racetrack very soon. Really excited about that one. And there are quite a few bug fixes, but I decided to only put one into this video here, which I want to get some attention on. They said they fixed that the AI vehicle doesn't yield at crossroads. I'm not entirely sure about that. We're gonna have to see about it. But yeah, any AI improvement is gonna be highly appreciated, because for the longest time it's been absolute garbage. So I'm glad that they are doing something about this. I'm also just driving around now to see if we get any more of those speed bumps looking things. It's so weird with the nighttime moonlight setting up to 500%. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this video. Oh yeah, there's another thing I want to quickly check since we are here already. There have been a few reports about some bumpy roads, and those should be fixed now. Also, another ghost. Boop. And this should hopefully be much smoother now. Doesn't seem to be fixed. Or at least, yeah, I don't know, this still is very bumpy. So maybe that's gonna come with the next version or something, but I hope they fix all of that. That would be another good thing for racetracks. But yeah, remains to be seen if we actually get that sorted out. It's been it's been on the dev's radar. We got a bug report out of a bug report for that whole thing, and the dev has reacted, so this should be fixed at some point, but apparently not for this version. So gonna stay waiting for that. Anyways, enough about this. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this has been informative. It's it's quite a lot, and I know I'm kind of getting all over the place at the end here. So yeah, I hope you found this useful. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about the new update, and see you guys next time. Until then, have a good one, and bye bye.